This is going to be the most valuable video that I have ever made, and most people are going to overlook it because I'm about to tell you the parts of business that nobody wants to accept as reality. But if you master what I'm about to share and you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or planning to start a business, two things will happen. One, your life will never be the same. And two, you'll be able to build a sustainable business in any market that you choose. And look, I'm not just saying this to sound dramatic or whatever. I spent 3 years building my business and have made lots of mistakes in the process. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've wasted time. I've gone down countless rabbit holes, but eventually I figured it out. And there's a pattern to this. There's a system. And once you understand this system, you can literally rinse and repeat it in any market with any product and any service. It's like having a cheat code to the business game. And by the way, I'm Ashton. I'm the founder of Active Solutions. We currently service nearly 200 clients, helping them scale with done-for-you CRM solutions and a full team of consultants. And I'm telling you right now, stick with me until the end of this video. The most important stuff comes in the middle or the later part of the video. So let's get into it. The first thing that you need to figure out in any business, regardless of what you're starting, is your go-to-market plan. You need sales, and that's it. That means you need to learn how to market, you need to learn how to sell, and forget everything else in the beginning. I see this all the time. People come to me with their business idea and they're like, check out this logo I designed, or look at my business cards, or I spent 3 months building the perfect website. And I'm sitting there thinking, but how are you going to get customers? And then they look at me like I just asked them to explain quantum physics. The logo doesn't matter. The business cards don't matter. Even the website barely matters in the beginning. What matters is, can you get someone to pay you money for whatever you're selling? But Ashton, what about my amazing product? What about my service quality? Yes, you need a good product or service. But in the beginning, and take this with a grain of salt, it does not matter, because you need to get people to use the service first. You need something to offer, but you also need people to use it because that gives you data and it gives you feedback. Do not waste your time making it perfect before you actually get people to use it. 99.9% of your time and energy in the beginning needs to go into what is my acquisition channel and how am I consistently going to get clients. Cold email, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, organic content, I don't care what it is. You have to be consistent and relentless about getting that to work, and that should be your main focus. Choose one acquisition channel and stick with it. It's not going to work at first, but the more time, money, and energy that you dump into figuring it out, the faster you're going to crack the code. It's all trial and error. That's box number one. Find a way to get people to consistently raise their hand and say, I think I might be interested in this. And that is it. Focus on that. And don't give me the, I tried Facebook ad once and it didn't work. I hear that all the time. I spent $500 and got nothing, whatever it might be. That's like saying I went to the gym for an hour and I still don't have abs. So the gym doesn't work for me. It takes time and it takes testing and it takes tweaking. The faster you can get through the trial and error, the better. When I first started with Facebook ads, I lost money for like 3 months straight, but I kept testing and I kept learning and I kept optimizing. Now I can turn on campaigns that print money in any market, but I had to put in the work first. Now, step number 2, you need to be able to sell. So you have leads, cool. My acquisition channel is consistently bringing people who are interested in what I have. Now, I need to learn how to sell those leads. Spend all of the remaining time on getting repetitions. Once you've mastered the acquisition channel and you can consistently get people to show up in front of you, you can focus on closing. And I'll say this from experience. I've done this long enough that I can jump into any market and print leads. I don't say that out of cockiness. I say that because I've actually done the work. Now, once you can do that, you can consistently get swings at the plate. And that's where the sales training comes in, from repetition, from trying to sell people over and over again. Now, once you've mastered the marketing and the sales, or even have an average to slightly above average close rate, this is where it starts to get interesting. This is where you can make things scalable, as long as your price point and your lifetime value justify it. And this brings me to the part that nobody wants to hear, the pricing and value equation. Now, starting out, the last thing you want to do is overprice, because that's going to burn your reputation very quickly. Chances are you're not very good in the beginning. So be realistic and be fair to the person on the other end. Always make it about the customer. What would you pay for the service? And then try to match what they're paying with the value that you provide. This is extremely important. There's always this value equation that goes on in the person's mind subconsciously. So anytime they pay for anything at all, the value that they receive is immediately matched up with the price that they paid for it. And it's either less than, equal to, or greater than what they paid. If it's less than what they paid, you've got a pissed off customer who wants a refund. If it's equal to, you've got a satisfied customer, but they're not running to tell their friends to use your services. If it's greater than what they paid, now you've got a customer for life. Now, this is where you start spending your time on your system, the speed of delivery, and how good the service is overall. One of the things that I'll never forget is what Jimmy John Leotard said, the founder of Jimmy John's. He said in a podcast that he tried to franchise his locations and he was doing very well. When franchised, every location had its own owner and everything changed a little bit too much. The reviews started to shift and people started having inconsistent experiences. And this is what kills me about so many entrepreneurs. They nail it with one location or with their service and everything they're doing hands-on, then they try to scale it and everything goes to shit. But why is that? Because they don't document anything. They're just winging it, hoping that everyone else will magically do the things that they like to do. They magically will want to run their business the way or care about it as much as you do. So what did Jimmy John do? He bought the entire franchise back, all but one location, and then he looked at all of his 5-star reviews and he saw that they were all based around these 4 things: whether the food was good, people were nice, the facilities were clean, or the speed of delivery. That was every single 5-star review, just those 4 categories. So he asked himself, how can I build the systems and the SOPs to make sure that everybody has a 5-star experience all of the time? And that's exactly what he did. Now, if you go to a Jimmy John's on Florida, Illinois, East Coast, West Coast, it doesn't matter. You're going to have a very consistent experience. You walk in the door, you have a really friendly person greet you, the place is clean, you get your food fast, and it tastes exactly the same no matter where you are. And that is the power of SOPs and systems. Now, this perfectly ties into what I call the value equation. If you can find a price point that's attractive to the buyer and provide a level of value that exceeds the price point from their perception, that's how you keep a lifetime customer. I remember I was working with a gym owner, a really nice guy, hard worker. He was charging like $600 a month for his personal training, which is pretty standard. And he kept saying, Ashton, I need more clients. I need more leads. So I asked him, what exactly do your clients get for the $600? And he said, well, they get 3 sessions a week with a certified trainer. And sometimes it's grouped up. And that's all they get. So we restructured his entire offering and same $600, but now they get a nutrition plan and weekly check-ins, private application with workouts, progress tracking, and members only Facebook group that everybody was added to. That really added no extra work because we templated everything. Overnight, his retention went from 3 months to an average over a year when we checked when I last spoke to him roughly 3 months ago. So here's another example, but on a bigger scale. If you look at Amazon's margins, they're absolutely horrendous. They're 9%. And if you told anybody that you had 9% margins, they'd say you should probably do something different. But then you look at how much of the market that they actually own in the online store space. They do $600 billion per year with a B. So their profit alone is roughly 50 to 55 billion, larger than most large companies' total revenue. And that's because of how much of the market they have control over. They have to spend significant amounts of money on all the systems that they built, the warehouses in multiple locations, so they can get things to people's doorsteps as fast as possible. The SOPs, so everything is operationally the same. The drivers taking the same routes, following the same instructions, etc. Now, this is at a macro level because they're massive, but these are the types of systems that you need to instill in your own business. A lot of people hear this and think, oh, I'm not Amazon. I don't have to invest, billions in warehouses and shit. That's not the point. The point is the principle behind it. So for example, for a small lawn care business, this might mean creating a simple checklist so every yard gets the same perfect cut every single time. For a marketing agency, it might just mean creating templates or framework so every client gets the same level of strategic thinking. It's not strategic thinking. It's not the size of your business. It's about the commitment to consistency. Even if that means you profit less in the beginning, if you can take over the market, if you can own the market in whatever industry you're in by playing the long game and providing value that exceeds what the person is paying, that is how you win. And here's another way to look at it. If everything was going wrong for you, you're about to lose your house, filing bankruptcy, all the worst case scenarios, the first thing you'd think of wouldn't be, oh, let me cancel my Amazon subscription. You probably don't even remember that you're paying for it right now. And think how crazy that is when you actually consider it. They've created something so valuable that when your entire financial life is collapsing around you, your $12.99 subscription doesn't even register as something that you would cut. That's not an accident, that's by design. And I'll be honest, I've had times where I'm looking at business expenses and I see that I'm paying $50 a month for a software I barely use and I'm like, I need to get rid of that. But Amazon, I would never think to cancel that. That's because the value that Amazon provides for their $12.99 per month membership is astronomical. People would pay $100 or even $1,000 a month for that. Their subscriptions would drop off, but people would pay it because of how valuable it is. And that's the importance of the lifetime value of a customer. If you can master that, think of every little thing, how your team members can handle more volume, how you can provide the same level of service. If you get to the point where you think this is too much, we need to charge more, we need to profit more per head, or we can't scale with what we're currently doing, stop and think, this is a problem that we can solve. What else can you do more efficiently? Is there a different way to restructure your internal systems to handle more volume? I'll never forget this client that I had who ran a social media agency that I was consulting with, came to me saying, I need to raise my prices. We're too busy. We can't handle any more clients at this this rate. So I asked him to walk me through the process. And it turns out that his team was manually logging in to each client's social accounts, creating posts one by one, switching back and forth between platforms, and it was absolute chaos. So I was like, content batching, scheduling tools, templates. We restructured his entire workflow, implemented some basic automation. Within 2 weeks, his team could handle double the clients with the same headcount, and he didn't need to raise prices. He just needed better systems. So solve the problem first. The answer isn't always to just increase your prices. Now, here's the entire point of this video. If you can master the marketing, and then you can master the sales, and you master the systems, and you master the value that you provide, and you attain a lifetime value because your service is so good in relation to the price, people will never leave you. This is how you take over an entire market. And then 2, 3 years into business, or even 5, or even 10, when you've dedicated every ounce of your energy into making the best thing possible for your customer, when people try to step into the market to compete with you, they can't. Even if they tried to match your value, they don't have the systems or the experience to profit while charging the same price as you. Even if they matched your price, it won't be anywhere near as good. If someone came up to you and told you that they're going to start an online store and try to compete with Amazon, you'd think you should probably pick something else. That's not the best idea. It's like if some guy was like, yeah, I'm gonna start a new search engine and compete with Google. That should be how stupid the idea is of anybody else trying to jump into your market. Now, hopefully you got some value from this. Thank you for watching this video. The reason why we make these is because we want to provide as much value as possible in as little time as possible. If you haven't already, look in the description. You'll see a link to join our 100% free school community. We also do group calls. We have courses in there on building your CRM, scaling your ads, etc. If you currently operate a business and you don't want to do it alone, maybe you want a team, we can build out your CRM and just help you scale your business. So go ahead, you'll see the link in the description below. You can schedule a call with our team. Thank you for watching this video. We'll catch you in the next one.